Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Night of the Podcast. Whoa!
I don't want no money. Yeah, I just want your sex. Whoo, come on. Take a bite of Troy's bag of meat. Whoo, show Troy your teeth.
Show me your teeth.
I love that song so much. I hadn't listened to that song in a while, but when I pulled up this movie, it made me think of that song. I mean, how could it not make me think of Teeth by Lady Gaga? And I pulled it up, and I have been jamming out to Teeth for the last few weeks, let me tell you.
I always thought it was such a missed opportunity that they never used that song in an episode of True Blood.
Oh my God. I mean, I think there's so many opportunities to utilize this song. I'm waiting for it to have like its TikTok resurgence where it like blows up. I mean, come on. Underrated Lady Gaga track. Oh, should have had a music video. People dressed as Teeth. I mean, you know she do it. Full teeth costumes, dancing. But we're not here to talk about Lady Gaga. Though my, I wish that we could get that crossover, perhaps a remake at some time. But no, Troy. We are talking today about a very gum-heavy movie.
How do you feel?
How do I feel about gums? That was going to be my question for you, Troy. How do you feel about gums?
I guess I've never paid much attention until I watched this movie.
Troy, let me hold on. Let me grab a hold of the wheel. Jesus Christ. I am really particular when it comes to teeth. I'm going to say it right now. It's a thing for me. I've got a snaggle tooth maybe that just drives me crazy. I'm aware of it, but I'm very like teeth oriented. I hate to be that person. Like when I'm looking at people, the first thing I look at is their teeth. It's just a thing for me. I know everyone's got one, just like I've got a lazy eye. Some people pick up on it. Some people don't. I'm very teeth focused. And so for me to watch this movie, it's significantly more excruciating than I fucking remembered. Because when I saw this movie, Troy, I saw this movie when I was young, and I honestly, I forgot how fucking violent this film is. I forgot a lot of things about it, but I forgot how fucking gross these gummy teeth sequences are. What are your thoughts on teeth? Just what are your thoughts overall? A movie based around a dentist. We're watching the dentist. We're discussing the dentist. Give me your takeaway. I'm curious to hear it.
Yeah, interesting look into the mental decline of this man who on the surface you would feel like would be very successful. You know, yeah, the gum stuff, the teeth stuff, the drilling is all quite a lot at times. I was definitely cringing. You know, I don't know if I would say this is an enjoyable movie. Like it's not a movie that I enjoyed watching. There are some scenes that really kind of turned me off. But, you know, I thought I had seen this. I must not have, because nothing struck a chord with me watching it this time. Like, I don't think I'd seen it, but interesting choice. You know, coming right out of the mid 90s, there wasn't a lot of horror offerings during that time. And this was 96. But I don't know if this was post Scream or prior to Scream. I'm assuming prior to Scream because Scream came out in December of 96. So, you know, there weren't a lot of slasher offerings around this time. So this was really kind of fun looking back at what filmmakers were trying to do with the slasher genre in the midst of, you know, probably the biggest slasher drought in cinema history, the early to mid 90s. And I can definitely tell that there was a lot of just attempts at doing, you know, straying away from the traditional slasher formula and just giving viewers something that a little bit more stylistic, a little bit more. I don't even know the word I'm trying to use here, Roger, but just something unique, different. It wasn't your typical like Michael Myers, Ghostface, anything like that. This was a man who was really committing a lot of his mayhem in a area where generally I don't want to say we feel safe, but generally going to the dentist office, we might worry about the pain and whatnot of having our teeth worked on, but you don't necessarily think you're going to be strapped to a fucking chair and have your tongue drilled with one of those fucking drills, or your tooth ground down to a fucking pulp by a by a drill.
I mean, listen, this film, when you said it's not necessarily enjoyable, I think that the problem with this movie is there's aspects of it that are horribly dated. Like, this was a film that was released straight to HBO. It looks like the sets that they're filming on are like leftovers from 90210. The way it's shot, just the look, the aesthetic, everything about it is very, very of the era. Very, almost like, early 90s. I'd say it feels like 94, 95. So by the time this came out in 96, when Scream rolled out the way it did, I think that it would leave a film like this almost kind of behind in this dust, because this is, while it is doing some different things with the slasher genre, it's still following the key beats. And I forgot that this movie gave me as much as it does as a slasher. Like, it has a reasonably high head count. There's a lot of victims. It's gory as all get out. There's some chase sequences. But other things about this film that I think are surprising is, like, in a way, I almost feel like this film very loosely set the tone for what would be like an American Psycho. I mean, films that came after it where you get these really interesting kind of character portraits, breakdowns of figures in power that you see kind of just succumbing to their own personal successes and their own personal demons, and kind of just the deconstruction of this man and his mental state. You mentioned that. It's a really interesting analysis of that. But that is one of the things that I think more so than anything, like, holds up about this film, is it really feels like it did what American Psycho was trying to do a few years later. Like, this kind of set the groundwork for that. It's just American Psycho did it 110 times, I don't want to say better, just with more finesse, more class, more style, and a bigger budget. This feels relatively low budget, but really what it's striking, like what it's setting out to do, I think it actually accomplishes in a lot of different aspects. And I just didn't remember liking this film as much as I did. Like, I kind of went into this review getting ready to rip this film apart, and we're still going to do it. But this film honestly served me way more than I ever anticipated on a big silver plate, and I think it pulls off some pretty impressive kills, and I'm excited to discuss it with you because I just wasn't prepared to really have as much fun with it as I genuinely did. Like, I had a really great time watching this movie.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad you picked something like this because, yeah, I think it's obscure enough that people probably forget that it even exists. So choosing this, I think, was kind of a smart idea. I like when we pick some of this under radar stuff that kind of doesn't get talked about enough anymore. And I do think that there are some really cringeworthy effective scenes that'll stick with me for a while. And again, as we go through the film, I'll kind of talk about some of the stuff that I just find not really enjoyable, and I wouldn't say it tanked the movie for me, but definitely doesn't amp up maybe the rewatchability factor for me, if that makes sense.
Sure. That makes sense. And I think one thing worth acknowledging in saying that, Troy, is like, the director behind this film, Brian Yuzna, has a lot of films, a lot of titles that I think people have similar feelings towards. He's known, I mean, some of his biggest titles that we recognize, films like Society and so forth, are genre defining, but like, look at like Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. It's got a following, but overall there's a lot of people who are very torn on it. Like, what's another one? He did a few different sequels. What are some of the other ones he did?
He did Return of the Living Dead 3.
Again, but that's a film that, some of the decisions they made on a lower budget, it still has quite a defined fan base, but still there's definitely fans of the genre that do not enjoy it. So I think this kind of falls right in line with what I'd expect from him. Like, I think his style, he has a certain kind of look, a certain way that he handles the camera, and I think it's very clear that this is a Brian Yuzna production. Don't you see that in this film?
Yeah, definitely. He likes to give close up, extreme close ups of specific body parts and stuff like that. We saw it in Society. We saw it in Return of the Living Dead 3. So definitely some of his trademark stylistic choices all over this movie. I think you also get a pretty strong performance by Corbin Burnson, the lead.
Oh.
I think he's pretty great in this.
Oh, yep, Corbin Burnson, who, I mean, I was doing my deep dives on the Wikipedia, and I just need you to know, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but did you know Corbin Burnson has what is one of the largest snow globe collections in the world, with over 8,000 snow globes to his name? Did you know this, Troy? This seems like a you fact that you would know.
I did not know that at all.
Well, let me bestow that gift on you.
I need some snow globes. We should seek him out and see if we can have a tour of his snow globe collection. I would definitely like to say 800 fucking snow globes.
8,000.
8,000. Jesus.
Holy shit.
Where is he putting them all?
In his dental office.
Well, one of them has to be like a dental chair or something. Like shakes it up and like little teeth fly around instead of snow. It's like little teeth. And
I hope he's beaming from ear to ear when he does it, because you're right. He does take this role and he sinks his teeth into it. I mean, he's chewing on the scenery ever so slightly. It doesn't ever really go to a place where I think he's so over the top that I don't find it enjoyable. It's like he's just enough. It's just absurd enough. And he's given a lot of monologues about rot and decay. The dental puns are out the wazoo in this movie, but he handles it with ease. He's really good in this role. And, despite a script that is at times kind of bloated with like the same ongoing commentary and jokes, he's talking about rot and decay over and over, but he still makes the character really interesting. And he makes this decline in this character, I think, really something I want to watch. I wish that the film, like upon the start of the movie, because let's bite into it, dare I say, shall we?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bits.
Oh my God. We'll save all of our little shout outs and everything for after this, making sure you guys all give us those 5-star reviews. We're not going to weigh you down with it. We're going to just bite right in.
No, speaking of 5-star.
What? Oh God, wait, we do have a 5-star review.
Yes, speaking of 5-star reviews, we got a new one finally. And it was
my God.
A person actually wrote us a review, so along with 5 stars, saying how great the podcast is and that they enjoy that we cover such a vast variety of films. And
oh my God,
I know. And it was Girl Loves Zombies is the name on Apple Podcast. So we want to thank you guys. If you want to shout out on an episode, write that 5-star review. It's simple, a sentence or two about why you love the show.
Oh my God.
5-star rating. Guys, it does help. Well,
and that makes us so fucking happy. Do you hear how happy we are? We're thrilled. That's all it took, Troy.
All it took was to see that new 5-star rating. So, yeah. So thank you, Girl Love Zombies. We love ya. We also love zombies, right?
I love them. I love them. We're gonna give her something good here soon. We'll let her. If you want to disclose who you are, Girl Loves Zombies, and you want to maybe shoot us a message or something here, we might just cover the movie of your request, because honestly, we've been waiting for that 5-star review for a minute now, and you made our dreams come true. So we're gonna give you something nice. Do you think that's fair, Troy?
I do. Dental floss and a little trial size toothpaste.
Oh my God, the gifts we give. But right now the gift we're going to give is the review of The Dentist. And what I was starting to kind of get into here is, like, it's a really interesting character piece for this guy, but there is a lot of bloat. There's a lot of blabbering on the same topic, and he's given like kind of one theme that he can run with, and that's it. And like from the very start of this, one thing I really wish I got a little bit more of is just some exposition on this guy. Like, I get it, we're coming in the midst of the decline. Like, really, we're coming into this and he is already kind of off his rocker. He's already struggling. He's having hallucinations. He's taken pills. It's mentioned here and there by his wife, Brooke. But really, like, we don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's okay that they kept it vague and that it's not really like insulting anybody or saying like, oh, he's schizophrenic, or, they don't ever go into that territory. But I think this film could have really used just a little more backstory on the guy, because it does feel kind of like you're just kind of having to like kind of catch up and figure out what the hell is going on. Why is this guy so angry? Why is he so obsessed with these things? Why does he keep talking about rot? Like, I wish I knew a little bit more about what got him to this point. Do you feel me on that?
I do. I think there's little breadcrumbs that are sprinkled throughout the film that hint at the fact that he has continually struggled with mental health issues. There's several moments where people are telling him to take his pill, or you know how you get if you don't take your pill. So you know how you get it when you have one of your episodes. So it's like it seems to be known by most of the people that are in his life that he has some sort of issue. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where, yeah, as a viewer, you maybe want to know a little bit more about this guy and what in his past has caused this anger, this like, I mean, this dude literally launches into full-fledged hallucinations and whatnot. So yeah, maybe a little bit more about his past, but I think there were enough breadcrumbs that were strewn about for me to make the inference that, okay, this guy, even his wife knows that he's has issues and isn't necessarily all there and is prone to these sort of episodes.
Talk about some lame ass credits while we're at it. Like, I just gotta say it, Troy. If we're gonna just start the movie off right, like these credits, we've seen some very lavish credits lately. Lots of just fun, interesting approaches to like the start of a film, and this film, like, just. I mean, I guess it feels like a dental training video or something, like what I would expect to watch if I was starting a job as a dental hygienist. Like, it's just blue with white font over it, and it's just really the lamest credits I think I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not being dramatic there. Like, it's so stupid, and you just have this bad MIDI music over it. The score in this film is pretty like cheap electronic, like beep boop 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 boop. Like, it doesn't ever sound really like high quality audio. That's one thing I think that could have elevated this film, is maybe just a better score, because you're set up when you go into this movie, like, you are set up to expect, like, this is a straight to video horror movie, and I'm not going to expect a lot of quality from it. Like, really, like, it just looks cheap. Like, it looks like a cheap 90s, just like exactly what it is, like, in a way, like almost like kind of like a a softcore porn movie at certain times. It's not until the movie starts to get in full swing that you start to see the budget come out. But like, the first few scenes in this movie just look exceptionally low budget to me, and the credits do not do anything to change my expectations with that.
I think you hit the nail on the head by saying it kind of looks like a 90210 Melrose Place episode. It's definitely has that type of gloss to it. And your first introduction to this character, this Dr. Alan Feinstein, is, prior to the credits, is him doing this weird thing. I mean, it starts out with just a shadow of his hands, and we hear opera music. Opera is very prevalent in this film as well. And, he's pretending he's conducting the opera, and he kind of launches into this weird thing where he is kind of looking at the camera, miming that he's doing a dental procedure on a person, and talking to himself into the camera like, no, I haven't always practiced here. What's my story? Well, I believe that there's always a story to be told. And then it kind of launches into what becomes the exposition and kind of the motivating force for the rest of the film, is we're introduced to his wife. We're introduced to his home life. We get his voiceover talking about how he had a beautiful wife, a beautiful home, the perfect life together. And then, yes, so many mentions of rot and decay in this film. It's like, okay, guys, I get it. He's a dentist. Yes, let's throw some more rot and decay stuff in there. But the first one is like, but under that clean white surface was the stench of decay. And then he calls for his wife, Brooke, who is out next to the pool talking to the very hunky pool man, Matt.
Oh my goodness, Matt. I would have liked to have seen more of him. You sure see plenty of Brooke, I'll say that. Knockers to the wind, this one. This gal, always topless. I mean, not always, but a majority of her scenes, I feel like she's really just naked. I mean, quite a lot. And And it's gratuitous. This film's pretty gratuitous, but only with her. Like, she's the only character that really is exploited, but boy, oh boy, do they exploit this poor woman.
I know. I kept thinking to myself, could this film be made today? Doing some of the shit that it does. That ran through my mind a couple times because how post Me Too movement people have gotten a little bit touchy about nudity, female nudity especially. I think I just saw some article where, like, in the past couple of years since the Me Too movement, female nudity in films has declined by 53% or something. But then there's also other scenes in this film that left me really uncomfortable. And I think you kind of know which specific one I'm talking about. So I kept thinking, could this movie be made today? Like, exactly as is, could it be made today?
I'll tell you right now, Troy, the answer to that is no. I really don't think it could, but I prefer it this way. I mean, honestly, like, do I necessarily want to think that guys are out there drugging girls up, as we come to find, and squeezing out their honkers? No. I mean, yes, I'm sure that exists, but like, do I want to acknowledge that harsh reality? No. But is that part of what makes some of the moments in this film work? Absolutely, and I hate to admit that, but part of what makes this film work is because it's the fact that it feels like a product of the time, and it leans into it. The way this guy treats his women, the way he talks to these female employees, I mean, holy shit, what a piece of shit. Even more so now, I'm sure, than it sounded then, but it is, he does have this, I almost want to say, like, this kind of Messiah-like complex about who he is as a dental hygienist. Like, he clearly thinks that he is almost like godlike in what he does. He glorifies himself so much. And there's a narcissistic element of who he is, this obsession he has with the purity, both dental and otherwise, that he finds in people. And what his wife does here in the sequence, as we come to find, because it does happen pretty early on, that he finds out that Brooke is banging the pool guy, Matt. I get it. I absolutely get why. And she's giving gratuitous oral sex to him in a couple sequences here.
Okay. We're going to get there. Because... so yes, a lot is thrown at us in like the first 3 minutes of the film, because as he's calling Brooke in, he also gets a call from Marvin Goldblum from the IRS. This fucking dude becomes a prominent figure in the film, always hounding fucking poor Dr. Feinstein about he needs to come visit him. Your taxes are a mess. You can infer through the conversation that this doctor or this IRS agent wants to book an appointment with Dr. Feinstein, but wants him to make him the priority because he's an auditor, So that comes into play later. So put that on the back burner for now. But then Brooke comes in, and this man, yes, Roger. I said Corbin Burnson is great in this role, but I also have to say, fuck, I don't think I've hated a character more than this guy. It's kind of just a neat, it's kind of a neat juxtaposition, because we just came off of Psycho 2 and Psycho 3, right? Where part of our discussion on that film was how, even though Norman, especially in part 3, is a murderous monster, he's still likable. There's still that underlying charm to Norman Bates where we don't want to see harm come to him. We sympathize with him. This fucking dude is the complete opposite. Right from the start, he is just a fucking asshole, and it never lets up. I mean, that is who this guy is.
But part of that, Troy, I think, really works for me, because, he is a rich, pretentious, upper-class dentist in, Hollywood, in, L.A. I think they say it in L.A. And he is, this just rich, middle-aged, late to middle-aged white male who is obviously just kind of thinks that everything kind of revolves around him, and he clearly has some elements of self-doubt that come out here, but overall, the way he talks to people, the way he interacts with people, the fact he's such a piece of shit, I mean, it really does make you want to see him get his just desserts. You want to see this guy lose.
But the problem is we don't see that. We see it to an extent, I guess. The implication is, and we're jumping way ahead. So let's back it back up. His first interaction with his wife is screaming at her, literally screaming at her, because she failed to notice a stain on his pink shirt when she picked it up from the dry cleaning. And he's like, now I got to wear this. And it's a white dress shirt. He looks perfectly fine. And she's like, well, what's wrong with what you got on? He's like, when I wear white, I have to have my diamond cufflinks, but I don't have my diamond cufflinks because they're still at the jeweler's with the stones being reset unless you pick them up for me. I mean, it's just like, well, I'm sorry. I've been busy working on this fundraiser. He's like, God damn it, Brooke. Things are going to hell around here. I'm like, dude.
Oh, he's unstable. The man's unstable. He is extremely OCD. This poor woman, no wonder she's having an affair. I mean, Brooke is a flawed individual to a certain extent, but she is very much clearly mistreated by this guy. It's not so much a physical thing yet, but it is definitely something where he is just... The way he talks to her, he's screaming at her. He never has really a nice word for her through the whole film. The only way she's able to kind of like cover her ass here is to end up turning up that she's got diamond cufflinks she's gotten for him. She surprises him with it. He does find out that she used his card, so he gets pissed off again. But, at least she's able to kind of cover her ass there.
And I think them throwing in his little diamond cufflink tangent shows just like what an entitled piece of shit he is. Like, he's this rich entitled guy. I think you nailed it. But yeah, she takes him in the bedroom to give him their anniversary present because it's also their anniversary. And it happens to be platinum cufflinks. And, he goes to kiss her and he realizes like she's not wearing anything under her robe. Like, and she was just out with the pool man. He's like, you got to be careful. She's like, I was going to go take a shower. And she goes to take a shower and he notices like she has mud streaked on her. And he's like, the decay, it's once decay starts, it can only lead to rot. So he goes to his car to go to work. And then something kind of stops him because he notices he has like the sludge on his hand. Because there's a moment also where he goes out when he's walking to his car, he runs into the pool man and Roger, this is fucking disgusting. I've never seen a pool this fucking just dirty. What the hell is this?
What is wrong? What are they doing? Are they having like scat parties at night? Where like people are shitting in the pool? Like, not to be crass, but holy shit! Like, there is a problem with that pool, and that's not just that's like a deep plumbing issue with that pool.
Yeah. I was thinking to say he's like, oh well, your filter needs to be changed. Bullshit! This pool is full of shit. Like literally, the guy is covered in it.
Oh, it's disgusting. But God, this guy's hot. Even covered in shit, this guy's fucking hot. And he talks shitty to him, too. He's like, you'll get the job done, else you don't have a job. Like, really, they do paint this dude to just be a fucking asshole. And it is one consistent through the film that never lets up is how relentless this fucking Alan is at just being a prick. But so, yeah, he goes back in, disgusted with the shit that's on him, and he looks out the window, and here we are, like I mentioned earlier, you got old girl going down to town on this pool guy, who, he seems happy as a fucking clam, and she's in it. She strips him down, her blonde head bobbles down to his crotch, and she's down there, and I'm sure the actress was just had her face just laying down there with a dick beside it, but still, it looks pretty, for what it is, it looks like she's giving him a full-on blowjob. She's just going up and down, working it. She's going to town. Good for her.
Her head is a bobbin. I don't think, Roger, I don't think I've seen a movie where the female seems to want dick as much as this woman. Like, she literally, like...
Or the neighbor! Or the neighbor!
Oh, God, that neighbor. That has to be one of the...
Paula!
Okay, so if I had the choice between Brooke and Paula is not the most attractive thing.
No.
Thank God we don't have to see her hoo-ha's out.
I thought it was coming, though. I really did. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Brooke is like going to town. It starts out really like, I'm like, oh my God, am I getting a little aroused here? Because she stands him up, pulls his shirt off. This man he has washboard abs, the pecs. She unbuttons his pants, and we see it pull him down. And he's like, she's going up and down. He's moaning and, oh yeah, honey, that feels great. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the doctor's standing there giving a fucking soliloquy about it. Like, the infection is spreading. How deep did it go? I'll tell you how deep, to the back of those fucking tonsils, because the old girl ain't coming up for air the whole time. And understandably so. He's hot as fuck. But this really is like the tipping point for Alan. If he wasn't already unstable and having anger outbursts, now he's ready to kill. And this really is like what kind of sets him off for the rest of the movie. He starts to spiral into just a completely absurd, over the top, just complete like loss of reality. And like I said, he's hallucinating. But this is really kind of the tipping point for him. And I do find it like the way that they kind of weave it into the story, they keep it really simple. Like one of the things about this feeling very direct to video is that the story at its core really isn't that elaborate. Like he literally finds out his wife's cheating. It sets him off on a murder spree. That's the story that we're going to get here. And he's a dentist, so it's all about teeth. But I feel in this case, after watching a lot of films that have been very overbloated with story, I think that the simple plot here that's going to unfold is really in this film's benefit. Like this film is not trying to define a new genre or change the blueprint of how it's done. It's sticking to the basics and it's setting it in a dental office. And it really gives this film, I think, a lot of room to just kind of like know what it needs to do, introduce some fun characters, give us a sassy gal named Candy with some one-liners, give us some zingers, and give us a bunch of good kills. So I think like this being the tipping point and nothing more to it, it's kind of simplistic, but like I don't need more from a film like entitled The Dentist. You know what I mean?
No, and we've seen films like this before where this becomes the tipping point for a man going on a killing spree. I mean, I know like from the 80s there are a couple of really low budget films. Truth or Dare is one of them that has kind of the same premise, and so is like Killing Spree, a movie called Killing Spree, where the man finds out his wife is cheating and it throws him into a psychotic murderous rampage. This one is a little bit more I think grounded in a reality than those, because everything is taking place in such a confined space, and we do get to know like the characters. It's not just like random people he's walking down the street hacking, with an axe or something like these other films. But like, I do think it's an interesting watch to see him sort of transcend into this madness and what causes him finally to snap. And this really affects him, watching his wife get her boobs rubbed with this sludge. I mean, this is disgusting.
Shit rubbed all over those doctors. It's gross.
He goes upstairs to his desk. He gets his gun. He comes back downstairs, and we have this scene where he literally shoves her mouth like all the way on this guy's dick. And he's like, show. And he points the gun in Matt's face and says, You sick motherfucker, get your hands off of her. And Matt says, man. And he's like, it's doctor. I'm a dentist, which is why she has perfect teeth. And he's like, show him how perfect your teeth is. Show him. And he's like pushing her head he's pushing her head on this poor Matt's cock, and then points the gun at him and fires. But Roger, we find out it is just a hallucination he had, like his first real vision of him actually going through with killing.
Yeah, it's setting the groundwork for what's to come, and it is a really big, elaborate hallucination sequence, but he does get a few of them. It's not something, though, that they really beat over our heads, though. Like, we've seen movies that are just brimming with hallucinations. It's something that they use to kind of define his mental state. That's it. I'm thankful for that. I'm happy they didn't go any further with it. And pretty quick, we're at his office. And this is definitely like, if it's not the mansion, then this is the main location of the film. It's pretty much between the two of these, and then there's there's a school sequence at the end, but like the locations are very simple. This office is very like pastel pink 90s. Again, it's very of the era. And one of the things that does make the film feel, I think, a little more of the budgetary restrictions like coming through to the camera it is definitely this location. I mean, like, I guess I can't imagine dental office looking more elaborate than this. I suppose, but like a dental office isn't really the most exciting place to set anything. I'm not going to the dentist unless I absolutely have to be there. So like it's just, it is what it is. This is the location where the film is set. But luckily, the characters that exist within the dental office, I'm really quite fond of. Like, I like most all of the characters that I meet, including one Mark Ruffalo, out of fucking nowhere with Mark Ruffalo in a blink and you'll miss him cameo role.
I know. Yeah, I have that exact note. I have capitals. Mark Ruffalo. Wow. Early role for him. Capable in the role. But I do like that we go to this office and we do meet this like ragtag group of people. Not just the people that work at the dentist office, but these clients that are there waiting for the doctor to get in because obviously he is not on time. And I mean, you have just all these different lively characters that I really, really enjoy. We get, a brief moment with Mr. Schaefer, who is irate and yells at poor Candy, your favorite character, I'm assuming, this old gal.
Oh my god. And she's sweet as can be, which is fitting for her name, Candy. I like her so much. I like the female camaraderie between the three. Like his team, his core team, which is Karen, Jessica, and Candy. And I think these three gals are all rather likable. And then they're all, they all have kind of a moment to shine, but overall they're definitely not focal characters. But I think they bring a lot of chemistry to this film. And we need some strong female characters in this movie because for the most part it really is just him screaming at the camera. But yeah, so we get introduced to the location. He's not there on time. He's late. Candy's going to call him, and meanwhile we do find out that Alan is still very much focused on like what's happening at the pool. It's clear that it wasn't a hallucination what he witnessed, in the sense of that this affair is actually happening. He did hallucinate killing them, didn't go through with it, but he is obviously plotting something. So you do see that Matt is going to be going on to like the next location, and so he starts tracking him. He starts following him to the neighbor's house, unleashing his plan, if you will, kind of plotting what he's going to do next. And he goes over there, but lo and behold, Paula steps out, and she's ready to have a conversation.
Oh, Paula in her little yoga leotard. Yeah. So Paula, we forgot to mention back at the office, all these people are getting impatient. You get April Rain, this Marilyn Monroe young woman who has hopes and dreams of being a big movie star, and Mark Ruffalo, Steve, who plays Steve, is her like talent agent. She does get called back by Karen, and so goes back there. There's that little fucking boy that we'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, instead of going to work, Alan followed Matt with the gun in hand to Paula's house. And Paula comes out and he has to tell her, "Oh, I just stopped over to invite you to a surprise party I want to throw for Brooke next week." That's kind of the guise he uses for being over there. And she yawns and he says, "You need to schedule an appointment to finish that filling." And so small talk. She's like, "Yeah, okay. I'll get it scheduled." He's like, "I'll have the office call you." And he goes back to the backyard and he sees Matt cleaning the pool. When all of a sudden this seductress, this Paula, comes out of her back door. She's like, "Oh, Matt, come inside. He just got a blowjob and he's going to fuck this broad."
Okay, Paula is the human personification of sloppy seconds, in the sense like this guy just banged the hotter blonde. He got his first nut. It's the most important nut of the day. And now he's moving on to dame number 2, who is definitely going to be the downgrade. So if he still can rally a nut, it's going to go to Paula. But it's clear that he can rally a nut because Paula has a big old shit-eating grin on her face. She's ready for it. But yeah, I mean, Paula, God love her. Yeah, she's, it's just an unfortunate look. That short cropped hair, her overall just taste in wardrobe, and her personality. I think Paula seems kind of like a bitch. But I mean, they're all rich, pretentious pricks. They really do a good job of creating that kind of like just stuck up, kind of condescending, like LA money vibe, even in the dental office. Like you're meeting April Rain, who is like a model. She's very self-obsessed and she fucking talks about it. She's great in the role though. I mean, really fun characters. And one thing I like, because it is a dental office, is like a lot of these characters, like they come in for their appointment and then they go, much like this deer in headlights, dead-eyed child Jody that we're about to talk about for a fleeting second here. But also we are introduced, it's worth noting, to Sarah, who is just a lovely young teenage girl who is probably the most teenage-looking teenage girl we've seen in a slasher in a long time.
Yes.
And she's very relatable and likable. I think she's great.
She is. I love the fact that like her mother never like stays with her. Just like this is a big deal for your daughter. Like she's getting her braces taken off. We find it's her 2 years. She's getting her braces. She is super excited about it. But like every time we see her, her mother just like drops her off and never comes in. She's like, well, my mom's going to pick me up in 3 hours. I'm like,
and that feels very LA. Again, it just everything feels very intentional. It all makes sense to me. I don't question any of it. I think because of where this is set, where it is based. But yeah, you got characters like filtering in and out. And I do like that because you do meet a lot of like just random big personalities, and they all kind of feel very part of the same universe. So I like that revolving door of characters for this film. But he is currently still at Paula's. So you've got these people building up at the office. They're pissed off, and he's snooping, watching this guy pork pie this woman. As meanwhile, her Rottweiler sees him, gets pissed off, understandably so. This dog is just doing its job, defending its homestead, and it charges him. And so he takes out the gun and he ends up shooting the fucking dog in the head out of nowhere. I mean, you got a dead dog, and I was not prepared in a movie called The Dentist to have to deal with a dead dog, but here we are. He shoots the dog and he just takes off.
I mean, it's like I said earlier, you hate this guy, and this is just a huge check in a column to hate him even more. Yes, he kills a dog. And there is I was surprised. There's a pretty graphic scene of the dead dog here coming up as well. And I'm like, wow. So it just surprised me because we've had movies where it's like implied the dog has been killed, but we never see like the aftermath. This shows us this dog's the aftermath. So if you're sensitive of that sort of thing, keep that in mind. He shoots the dog. In the meantime, back at the office, April Rain is in the heaven room. I mean, all these rooms are themed, Roger. There's a heaven room, a safari room, an opera room, we find out.
Imagine working for this fucker. Not only are you dealing with fucking people at the dentist, you know everyone's fucking shitty, but then he's like, and I expect you to dress up in the theme of the room in which you are like actually like working. Like I would feel so like it feels like wearing like a costume at like a restaurant where you have to like wear a costume when you're serving people. It feels so like dehumanizing, and like already this is a shit job being a dentist, let alone making these people wear fucking costumes while they're doing it. I would be so pissed off if I was these girls.
Well, yeah, the girls also none of them seem real happy to be working there except Candy. You know, Candy, I'm going to tell you, Roger, Candy, stellar customer focused individual.
Oh,
nothing riles this old man. People are yelling at her, screaming at her, and she's just making jokes, having a gay old time in this office.
Well, here's my bone to pick, Troy. Overall, this team is on fire. I mean, Jessica runs a tight ship. We got Karen getting work done. We got Candy. I mean, try to take the bull by the horns and keep this fucking thing on the track while the doctor's out gallivanting, killing dogs. And these poor women are working their asses off trying to keep his office running smoothly. These poor women are not paid enough. They're abused in the workspace, and they are giving stellar customer service across the board.
As Karen is working on giving April her teeth cleaning, she does hear the door shut in the hallway, and it is the doctor sneaking in back into the office. And of course, she goes out to look, but she misses him because he kind of shies away into his office. And there's this moment where, you know, he looks at their wedding photo, and in his mind, he hears Brooke's voice saying, "You know, I don't want you anymore. You bore me." And then he throws on his dentist jacket and he says, "I'll throw her out on the street where she belongs with nothing." Out in the lobby, lots going on with these people. Jody's there. The mom is kind of getting a little bit antsy because she says Jody has Gymboree at 10. But guess what? The doctor comes out, calls for Jody. Everyone's super excited to see the doctor, that he's there. Jody, it is his first dentist appointment, Roger.
This child, I've never seen a film require so little from a child. This kid literally just stares, again, dead-eyed, soulless, dead eyes to the camera, and like occasionally manages to smile. I mean, I don't know if this kid's mute. I would think this child's at least 3. I'm assuming 3.
No, this kid looks like he's about 5 or 6.
Yeah, this kid should be speaking, and if he's speaking, they should have given him dialogue. And so the fact that they're giving us this mute child, it's very off-putting, because occasionally they'll just cut to the kid in like a reaction shot, but the kid doesn't do anything. The kid just looks terrified. So the mom's like really being a fucking hover mom, and she's all about this kid coming in. She's thrilled. She's looking in at everything that the doctor's doing, and the doctor, Alan, is really in no place that he should be performing any form of like dental surgical tasks, anything that requires that he's focused. He's clearly mentally unstable. He's talking to himself. Jessica's like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Nothing." He gets in on the child. He sits the kid down, and already, Troy, we're getting into gum territory. Like, we're getting there.
Well,
it's been coming.
They're in the jungle room. Yeah, he has, and everyone. Yeah, they're wearing like safari jackets. This little boy has a lei on.
They get really festive at this dental office.
But yeah, this kid is emotionless. Like, I don't know if he was directed that way, but like,
I'm convinced that he injected himself with the sedatives that were available on set in this dental office, and that this kid is seriously sedated for the movie.
Because there are moments where Alan, the character, is talking to the child. It's like, "Oh, are you scared?" And the child just stares at. I'm like, "There's so," but he's laying there, and the doctor starts like, he's like, "I'm just going to look at your teeth today. I believe that, your first visit should be easy because I want you to come back." So he's like, he's, scraping these teeth. And yes, goddamn it, Roger, that camera is right there in that fucking mouth. And we're seeing that fucking scraper scraping teeth. The mother of that mother, bless her heart, she's just trying to make small talk. She says, quite a practice you got here, doctor. I guess there's a lot of money in dentistry lately." And he says, "I work hard."
Oh, he's such a prick to everybody. And I mean, Troy, listen, this movie makes me want to vomit. This movie, this movie, I cannot express how close to people's teeth this camera gets, because there are moments in this movie, Troy, where you are like, I'm convinced that they put a camera on the end of like one of those dental picks and they just went to town, because you're in it. Like, I'm shocked at how close to these teeth they get. I wonder if some of them, I feel like some of these have to be like prosthetic or fake, like I mean, it's gotta be. Like, you see this one kid's tooth, like, literally, you see the gum, like, rupture, and blood just start pouring out of it, and I'm sitting on my couch with my eyes wide open, holding vomit in my mouth, like, just trying to get through my notes, and I can't look away from it, but it is literally repulsive. And if you're not a fan of teeth, if you're not a fan of teeth or gums, just turn back now. Like, if you haven't watched it and for some reason you are listening to this review, I'm going to send up the warning flare. I'm going to tell you, don't watch this movie, because it will make you literally just want to puke. It's so disgusting.
Well, and if you have a fear of dentists, this certainly isn't going to do anything for you. It's not going to help you overcome that fear. It's going to make you actually more terrified to go to the dentist than ever before, because this is shit that I think this is why people are scared of the dentist. Like, he has that fucking scraper and he's scraping the kid's tooth, and the mother, asks that question. So he says, he's like, "I worked too hard to lose it." And she's like, "Well, I don't think that's going to happen." And then he's like talking. He's like, "If I kick her out, she'll take every penny I've ever made." And Jessica's looking at him, the mother's looking at him like, what the fuck? And then he has a hallucination of Jody's teeth, Roger. It looks like, Roger, they're just smeared with shit. I mean, it looks like they picked up some of that sludge from the pool and to slather them all over.
He stabs the kid's gums, and the amount of blood, which, I mean, this is realistic to me, because when, gums bleed very easily, and I mean, he just jabs this thing into the kid's gums, and the kid's screaming, and the kid is
not screaming. Every few seconds he goes, "Ah."
Okay, let me simplify it. The kid is making noises. in reaction to what's happened. But the mom is not. The mom is pissed. She scoops him up like a sack of potatoes, and she's out the door. And she's like, "We're never coming back again."
I don't feel like that was a wise decision on her part because like this kid has his gum ripped open. I know the dentist just did it, but like go talk to Jessica. Like, can you put some gauze? Can we like stop the bleeding? But she takes that kid and she's out of there. And I love the doctor's reaction. His reaction is that kid is a spoiled rotten brat. We have to stop taking children.
I love it.
We have to stop taking children. We can't see children anymore.
His response is what my response would have been. If I made a child bleed, I would say that kid is absolutely to blame. What a repulsive, horrible child.
I mean, he runs into his office and Karen catches him taking pills. And again, it seems like she's aware that he is on these pills for a reason because she's like, oh my God, how many are you taking? You're only supposed to take one. And he's like, oh, I'm fine. What's going on? Who's the next patient? And she says, well, I just finished up on patient April Rain, but she's fine. She just needed a cleaning. There's nothing wrong. So if you're not feeling well, you don't gotta worry about it. So while he's in his office, he calls up Brooke, who is lighting up a cigarette, even though earlier in the film she told her husband she doesn't smoke. And he's having this, she answers the phone. He's like, I'm just sitting here trying to remember our first practice together. The dialogue that she has, again, is very pointed to the fact that he has these episodes quite a bit because she says, Alan, you're not having a moment, are you? You know how you get. Just take one of your pills, she tells him. And then he reveals to her while he's playing with that gun, he takes that gun out. He says, I'm running late. You're going to have to meet me at the office tonight at 7. She says, okay, fine. Hangs up, calls him an asshole after she hangs up. The same moment he hangs up and he calls her a bitch. It's like these two have such a wonderful relationship.
That sounds like you and I when we end a phone call after we hang up. No. But yeah, no. So after this, we go to this moment where we are in the room with April Rain. And I think, like, April's character, like, she's very, she's small. It's a small role. But I really do just want to emphasize, I think that this actress does a really great job with this character. She's got this little southern accent. He wants me completely rebuilt. Like, talking about how her agent wants her to basically be a beauty queen, and she's completely into it. She's got almost like an Anna Nicole Smith kind of vibe going on, but she plays it really well. And so Karen's in there, and she's going through the process of cleaning the teeth, and Alan comes in and he insists on taking over for her, even though previously Karen said she didn't really think she needed it. And right away he starts getting into talking about the decay being busy, so we're always busy, and you can see in Karen's eyes, she's like, oh shit, like something's bonkers here. Like everyone's kind of picking up that he's very unstable right now.
Well, yes, and especially Karen. She's really nervous. She knows. I think she knows shit's gonna go down. His state of mind is not conducive to him doing anything with April because she keeps like telling him, no, she's fine. She just needed a cleaning. Well, he rips out that X-ray and he's like, nope, there's a shadow right there on tooth number 14. That molar has a cavity. Tell Jessica to get me a cavity tray. And you can tell Karen is really concerned about this whole idea of him even doing anything with this poor April Rain.
So there's this little moment here, this banner with April, where she starts talking about how she has a thing about needles. And one thing I really like about some of the moments in this film, there's a few moments that you have these little dialogues where they do start talking about, like, basically basic dialogue that I've definitely had in my dental office before. Really common commentary on certain things like needles, laughing gas, just like things that make people uncomfortable. The dialogue in these moments feels really believable. And this whole moment where like he basically agrees to give her the laughing gas and said, I don't know, I just really like this banter. A lot of the banter between the characters is actually surprisingly well written for how low budget this film feels at times. And I do like everything that kind of comes from this moment. I mean, obviously leading up to what is an act of rape, of molestation, but everything up to that point I think is actually quite well handled.
Yeah, I do like, her nervousness is definitely coming through. I think she might have picked up on why is this guy so adamant to do this right this moment with me? And yeah, she's like, I don't like needles. And he's like, well, have you ever had nitrous oxide? And he puts it over her face. And then it cuts to Paula's house where two officers, Detective Gibbs and his partner, are examining Paula's dead dog. And this is the shot of this dog with its head blown off that you get. It's like right there. And he notices like the detective notices like the bullets that's still on the side of the house. He digs it out. He thinks there's conversation between these two that it could be like the robber who has been plaguing in the neighborhood, that maybe this dog attacked this robber who's been robbing houses in the neighborhood. And so the robber shot him.
It's worth noting that one of the detectives is, in fact, Ken Foree, who is always welcome here on this podcast in any movie that we view. Quite fun in a reasonably small role. He's always got charisma, so I always trust him with this kind of role. But overall, the detective thing is a very loose side story. It's very it's not a major focus. Like, majority of what we're doing here is really focusing on Alan and his decline.
Yeah, I find the detective stuff to be distracting. Anytime it cuts to the detective stuff, I'm like, shit, I don't want to see this. Get back to the dentist office. So in the lobby, Mark Ruffalo's character of Steve asks the Sarah, remember Sarah's the teenage girl with the braces, if she's ever modeled. And he's flattering her. He's like, well, you look like a model. Have you ever done any runway? It takes a lot of courage for those girls to do that. And he encourages this young girl, I don't know how old she is, 15, 16 maybe, to get up and like pretend like she's walking a runway. And she gets up, she's strutting her stuff because she sees his business card. He gives her his business card. It says Steve Landers, talent agent. So she thinks this is going to be her next big break. She's going to get her braces off and she's going to be a fucking runway model. But then he like immediately loses interest and goes up to Candy. He's like, hey, what's going on back there with April?
Sarah really is the ultimate final girl in the sense that she literally has nothing to do over the course, like the majority of this film. But what is interesting to me about this movie is, like, one of the rules it does kind of break is that it is very much it is the killer story. It's focused on him. Everybody else revolving around him is secondary. And surprisingly enough, there really isn't like a female counterpart. Like, yes, he has his wife. Yes, he has these females that work under him. But there isn't like a final girl here. There isn't a positive to his negative. There's not really like a hero that you're going to have that's going to rise up against this guy. And you do start to kind of realize that at this point, that because you do have characters coming and going, nobody's really taking on the mantle of the lead. The lead is the villain, and that is something that you don't get that often. And that does cause tonally for parts of this film. Like, I wished that there was a little bit more of a focus on a character like Sarah or somebody like that who just maybe had a little more to do, so you felt a little more satisfied when everything was wrapped up, said and done. You get what I'm saying with that?
I do. Her status as being the final girl is all happenstance. Like, it's all luck. Like, it has nothing to do with her at all. It's the way it fleshes out. And you do have, I do like the fact that you do have the women that stand up to him, especially Jessica. Now, it doesn't end well for her, but she definitely seems to be the biggest foe for him. Like, she has no qualms telling him what she thinks. But yeah, I mean, I just feel bad for this poor girl because like she gets up and does all this modeling walk and he literally just like ignores her. And it's funny because like Candy, it calls over to her, she's like, hey, Sarah, you all right over there? What's going on? Because she sees that she's acting weird. In the meantime, we cut back to the room where Dr. Allen is working on April. And she is definitely feeling the nitrous oxide, Roger. She's giggling. She's all squirrely on the chair. And as he's prepping her, she literally reaches down and grabs his crotch and tells him, don't hurt me, doctor, and I won't hurt you.
This was a weird move on her part, because really, like, I know she's drugged up, but like still, like, I mean, in most situations that doctor would be like, I'm gonna slap you with a lawsuit, you just grab me, I don't care if you're fucking drugged up, like, that seemed like kind of a bold move on April's part, but it does not make for what he does any more acceptable.
No. He looks down at his crotch and he has a vision of it being covered in that sludge, and he says, filth. And then he calls her a whore. He's like, whore. And then he amps up the gas. Like, we see him turn the valve to the gas. Steve in the lobby is getting impatient. Thank God for Steve. He's getting impatient. He's like, we have another appointment. I need to get April out of here. And Candy's like, I'm sure the doctor will be done with her as soon as soon, just be patient. Steve, not patient, asks to use the restroom. And so Candy's like, yeah, it's right down the hall. So he ventures down there. I mean, in the room, we cut back to the room, and this doctor is full on fingering April's mouth, like sliding his finger in and out of her mouth. We see that Steve is venturing down the hallway. He almost opens the door to the room, but Jessica stops him and tells him, nope, the bathroom's down there. And in the room, Roger, the doctor suddenly has a vision of April being Brooke, lying on that fucking dental chair, spread eagle, boobs flopping out. I mean, come on, baby, give it to me.
But this scene, man, holy shit! Like once he starts going in on it,
I hate it.
Oh, it's very uncomfortable. I mean, he's squeezing on her boozles. He's pulling her shirt off. He pulls her tights down. He's sexually assaulting her, and it is graphic. I mean, she doesn't get, you don't see nudity. You don't see anything, but you don't need to.
No, well, it is. You don't see nudity. You see nudity, but it's from him imagining that it's Brooke, right? Because Brooke is in that chair butt ass naked. But he's also like just kissing this girl, like
right.
Kissing like French lips and yeah, I mean, it's graphic. He pulls down rips her blouse open, pulls down her pantyhose, and it goes on for quite a while.
It does.
And I was getting uncomfortable, and again, this is a scene that I think could it be done today, or would people be as all gung-ho about it as possibly they were filming it back then? I don't think so, because it goes a little too goes on a little too long for me. And it is basically, I mean, you're watching this poor woman being sexually assaulted to the point where he's imagining that it's Brooke and he's kissing her and she's like, yeah, just like Matt. And this causes him to fly into a rage, and he starts choking her, choking this April in this dental chair.
Oh man, it is very prolonged. And when I say you don't see nudity, like I at least he doesn't like. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily any better if this would have happened, but at least he doesn't like pull her tit out or something. Like everything you see is Brooke. That's what I'm saying. Poor Brooke is the only one that's actually completely sexualized. Because in this moment, poor April, it is really like kind of pathetic. Like she's just completely knocked out. She has no idea. When he's choking her, she doesn't even know that he's choking her. She's so gassed up. So when she starts to come to, she's like hacking, and he's buttoning her shirt up, and her tights are too far down, so he just pulls them off and takes her shoes off, and he tells Steve, when Steve comes busting in, he's like, oh, we tried to make her comfortable. She had a bad reaction to the gas. And honestly, like, for the character of April, like, she doesn't really have any idea what's going on. And so the discomfort comes from, like, this actress just looking, like, completely just, like, overwhelmed and with no control over the situation. It makes for a very sleazy, skeezy sequence. But in the sense that it makes me feel the way I did. Like, is this sequence successful in making my skin crawl? Yes, like, truly, like, do I want to watch a sequence like this on repeat? Absolutely not. But going into this film, if this film is trying to make me feel repulsed by what this guy is doing, like, they certainly achieved it. It's just, it's rather shocking.
Yeah, and we can't be naive to think that this stuff like this hasn't happened, right? And that's another thing that I think, you have all these fears of dentists or going to the doctor or being put in a situation where you're completely vulnerable and helpless. And I'm sure this has happened. I'm sure if you Googled dentists, molesting patient, I'm sure you'll get thousands of hits where something like this has happened. So I can see where this would be super uncomfortable for a woman to watch, because wow. I mean, you realize just how vulnerable this poor girl is. And I think one of the reasons it makes me kind of hate this scene so much is because when the actress comes to, she's so believable. She's coughing. She's like, I don't feel good. I need to get out of here. She gets up and she's stumbling, and this poor woman, you just see her with her clothes all awry and everything. And you're just like, wow. The doctor tells Steve to take her outside for some fresh air. And Jessica sees this, and her and Karen look at each other, and there's that line where Jessica goes, they're dropping like flies.
Oh, God.
And then she goes into the room to clean it, and she does find the pantyhose on the floor.
I like how this is like a quick revelation because the women, upon seeing this, especially Jessica, like you had said this earlier, like she's proactive. Like she's like, holy shit, like something's definitely going on here. And at this point moving forward, like she's clearly bent on confronting him and addressing the issue. I really like her character quite a lot.
Yeah, no, Jessica's a great character. She is, like you said, she's a go-getter. She notices these pantyhose right away, and she notices that this is not right. He goes to the lobby to tell Candy that they need to order more nitrous oxide. She does reveal that fucking Paula is confirmed for tomorrow morning, but Paula wanted to ask him if he saw anything that morning because her dog was killed. And he's like, oh, no, I don't know nothing about that. Jessica, being Jessica, goes to interrupt Karen because finally Sarah's back there. She's all glowing because we think she's going to get her braces off. Karen's working on her, but Jessica goes and interrupts and shows Karen the pantyhose. Karen is a little bit more, I think, I don't know. She wants to give the doctor a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt than Jessica does, right?
Yeah, Karen is definitely a little more like, she seems a little more like tightly wound, a little more uptight, and Jessica's like, fuck no. Like, Jessica's like a no bullshit kind of gal, but they have like you can tell they have a good chemistry together. And then meanwhile, Sarah has this moment where she's like, all I've been thinking about is smiling again. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Sarah. Like, experience life. And then you'll realize that your dental issues are like the least of your concerns. But the fact that, like, oh, this poor girl, man, all she wants is this fucking hardware taken off her jaws. And she can't catch a break. I mean, really, this girl cannot catch a break over the course of this whole movie. And then you finally got, in the middle of all of this nonsense, you also got Mr. Goldblum from the IRS coming in. And, oh, what a piece of work this one is. If anything, if Alan's the villain here, I feel like Mr. Goldblum is like even more maniacal and awful, but I think this guy kind of knocks his performance out of the park. What do you think?
He is slimy. I mean, yeah, definitely a maniacal, diabolical character who is out for himself. And he doesn't care. He does not care who's waiting and who's been there all day. He just barges right in, and he just like, I'm here for my appointment. And Candace's like, well, you don't have an appointment. He's like, what do you? The doctor will see me when I'm here. I guarantee you, he's going to see me. So the doctor comes out and confronts Goldblum, and he says, I wasn't expecting you until a little later. As you can see, I'm busy. Goldblum is not taking no for an answer. He's like, doctor, you have some real tax problems, so you need to do a good job for me. The doctor's like, shit, and hesitantly invites him back. Just then, Steve, Mark Ruffalo to the rescue, comes barging back in. You fucking pervert! And he goes up to the doctor and punches him right in the face. Knocks him right into poor Candy.
Oh my God.
Like, what you did to April, we're gonna sue you. You guys, this guy's a degenerate and a sicko, and he storms out.
They're given, I mean, Steve doesn't have much to do, but Mark Ruffalo takes the moment and runs with it. With that, he has that very specific Mark Ruffalo sound, too, that you hear him and immediately you know that's Mark Ruffalo. And I do like that Mr. Goldblum's just like, oh, this is not your day at all, is it? And Alan's on the floor, his nose is bleeding, the gals are all just freaking out. And they do decide to close the office early after this outburst, which I think is probably the right call.
Yeah, he does demand all of the patients leave for the day, and then he tells Karen that she can tell Candy and Jessica that they are done for the day. Poor Sarah. I feel sorry for this little girl because she's up at the front desk with Candy. She's like, my mom's not picking me up till 1:30, so maybe I can stick around in case he can see me. Candy's like, no, sorry, you heard him. And you can just see the pain in this girl's eyes because, Roger, we have also failed to mention she had a whole party planned that evening. Party to celebrate that her braces were coming off.
Oh my God. And thank God she's moving the party to the next day. She mentions that later. But that's going to be a rough party after what this poor girl goes through. That ain't going to be much fun, is it? Poor Sarah. Really, Sarah gets the shit end of the stick in this movie. Well, but so do kind of all the women. Jessica and Karen also get the shit end of the stick. Those are my final girls, though. I wish give those two girls to the finale. I really was hoping those two gals would come back and have a big final moment where they teamed up, but unfortunately not the case. We get Sarah, but we're ahead of ourselves.
I was hoping Candy would show up as the final girl.
Oh, with a shotgun in hand. You know me, and I love a final girl with a shotgun. Picture if she steps in, she's like, not in my office. She fucking blasts Alan in the chest. I was praying for
Put
it.
her in a white wife beater and some jeans.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine that?
I dream of it.
Poor Sarah. So she has to leave. In his office, he has a voiceover where he says, "Who do they think they are with their infected lives?" And then he looks into the mirror and he says, "Happy anniversary, Brooke." I do like this montage of like back at the house, Brooke getting ready, putting her pantyhose on, putting red lipstick on, as it's intercut with Alan at the office laying out all these dental instruments.
Well, let's talk about that little dress, that little black dress she's wearing, that very 90s prom dress, all that frill, that taffeta.
They were making a big deal about this little black dress. This is one of the most hideous dresses I've ever seen in a film.
I have the exact note. I'm like, God damn, that's a bad dress. But I mean, she doesn't seem too invested in this guy, but he's sure fucking invested in her, because he's setting up quite the night for her as she kind of swings by to pick him up from the office so they can go on their honeymoon. She struts on in. She has a real long sequence of her shoes just walking through doors, and she walks into one of the offices, one of the rooms, and he's now set this room up specifically to look like an opera. Specifically, he sets it up to look like a specific opera. What's the opera, Troy? I have the note here. I can't find it.
Was it Panini? Something with a P.
He calls it his finest achievement. He says that it's oh god damn it, the House La Scala. La Scala, is that what it's called? He says it's the La Scala, and he walks her in, and it looks like a bad theater production of Little Shop of Horrors. Like it's like this really awful wallpaper, but he's got all this opera music playing. He's wearing a tux. He's making it like a real treat, and you can tell she's like, absolutely not. Like, we're going to lose our reservations. And he's like, no, please allow me, sit down. And I would be like, if you think for one moment, husband, that I am sitting down for a fucking root canal before we go for our honeymoon dinner, you have got the wrong gal in the wrong taffeta dress. No way in hell. But she just sits down, and he's tied her down within seconds. He's tying the poor woman down.
Yeah, ties her down and puts that gas muzzle over her face. And
oh my god!
I know. And he's like, I don't want to give you too much. I want you to be aware of what's happening, because tonight I'm going to make you pay for everything you've done to me. And he's like, I've been watching you. I've been watching what you become. Filth, whores, like the rest of them.
Oh my god, he talks to these women so just horribly. I mean, he's also going to try to rip her teeth out, as we come to find out. So I guess that's not the worst. The worst thing he does is calling her a whore. But yeah, then so he gasses her up, and then we get this real fucking nice extreme close-up that they're like getting right up in people's gums, and we watch. And I swear to God, I'm going to shit myself saying it. It makes me so fucking disgusted. We watch as this man physically rips a tooth out of this woman's mouth, and it is one of the most disgusting practical effects I've ever seen in my life. It made me have to pause the television and gag and walk into another room. like I had to walk away from the TV. I forgot how absolutely just disgusting all of this is. But he rips her teeth out
one by one while she is strapped to this chair. I mean, screaming, kicking. I mean, she's kicking, she's screaming. He is just ripping those teeth out with pliers. Yes, it is quite disgusting. It's quite disturbing. We see him grip that one with the pliers and just yank it out and the blood everywhere. It's just disgusting. And her screams are just carrying on and on and on and on until it fades out. And then it cuts back to him at home looking at the pool saying, I never used the pool. I had it built for you, but maybe I should. Maybe we should swim together, Brooke. And we look over and this bitch is on the bed. Looking like that fucking puffy face thing from Midsummer. Remember that big lipped child from Midsummer?
Oh, this is very Midsummer. You're absolutely right. Down to the fair blonde Aryan locks on this woman's head. But Troy, oh my God, those swollen, puffy cheeks. And you see, like, here's the thing that really gets me. Like, yes, the ripping of the teeth from the actual woman's mouth, I can't imagine anything more disgusting. Aside from seeing her pulpy, meaty gums inside of her open, gaping mouth after the fact, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can watch this film again, specifically knowing that those gums are coming. I have not seen anything more horrifying than that woman's gums. I don't think I ever have. I don't think I ever will. Like, God, this movie, I don't know how I forgot how disgusting this movie is. I mean, if you're going to go into a movie and you're going to title it The Dentist, I guess, like, what more can I expect? But I just guess I forgot this movie goes as hard as it does because, like, truthfully, I cannot think of many other movies that have given me such a physical, visceral reaction while watching them than this film. And again, I say this as someone who I am very, like, when it comes to teeth, I don't like dentists, I don't like gums, I don't like any of that shit. But holy fuck, seeing that woman sitting there with her big, puffy, bruised cheeks, looking like she's playing Chubby Bunny, oh, it's so
But
gross.
it's not even the last shot we get of her mouth being white.
Oh, no. Oh, it's coming back.
It's coming back. So, yeah, I mean, the next morning, Matt, sexy pool boy Matt, shows up to clean the pool. Alan has Brooke outside in a bikini, strapped. We see that she's tied down to the lounger, and he puts a big old, like, sombrero over her face, sun hat, so she can't see her face. But Matt sees that she's there. At the same time, Detective Gibbs and his partner show up and want to know if Alan has seen anything since there has been a string of burglaries. Alan's like, no, I'm sorry, I haven't seen anything. And the detective says, well, what about your wife? He says, well, I'll ask her when she wakes up. There's this moment where Detective Gibbs asks Alan blatantly, do you own a firearm? And he says, no. Which comes back into play. He should have just been honest, right? There's this line that Detective Gibbs says he says, you're a dentist, right? It's kind of like a cop, a necessary evil. And he leaves his business card with Alan. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole cop procedural stuff in this. I just think it kind of slows down the plot. I understand why it's necessary to get to the ending, but, like, I could have done without these two characters completely, to be honest with you.
I hear that, but I kind of I like this moment, and I like overall, like, one of the developments of Alan's character is how nonchalant he is. There is no way Alan's getting away with what he's doing. He's technically on a murdering spree moving forward, but he he evades the cops simply because he's just so, like, agreeable and, like, like, I mean, he's very just passive, and he's not, like, showing any sign of, like, anxiety or the fact that they're at the house. He just manages to make sure that they dodge seeing his wife tied down in the pool, and, like, seconds later he's back there killing Matt. I mean, like, they leave, and within moments he's killing somebody. So he does not seem worried or fazed at all by the presence of the police, which is, I think, part of his delusional state of mind. And it does make him a little more intimidating. Because, yeah, after this moment, this brief interaction with the cops, it's kind of unnecessary. I hear you on that. He does go back there, and you got this moment where you have Matt coming around the pool. He sees that she's tied down. He doesn't notice it right away. He just sees her sitting there with a hat over her face. So he sees her sitting there. He's scooping away at the pool, picking up leaves out of the water. And in the water, like, you see him pick up a massive piece of a human tongue. I mean, this is a full tongue, and they show it, like, pretty much, like, they show a shot of just the tongue when he scoops it out, and it's pretty fucking disgusting. And this whole bit here, when her hat comes off, this reveal, and everything that comes from it, I really kind of think it's a fucking great moment, Troy.
No, it is. I mean, this whole thing is disgusting. He flops that tongue onto the concrete, and then he rushes over to Brooke, and this is when she, like, gets up and looks at him, and the hat falls off of her face, and we see her fucking mouth wide open again. Her teeth look like they've been, like, shaven into, like, fangs and shit, and then her tongue is missing.
That's the gums. I think that's like the little areas where the teeth have been pulled out. I mean, she's definitely wearing a dental piece, but it's still pretty fucking effective because it all looks very swollen. The makeup in this is really kind of stand out. Like, and I'm saying kind of across the board. Like, one thing we've got to give this film credit about is these effects. Like, the gore effects in this movie are fantastic. And yeah, this whole moment, what happens here, like, he turns around and he runs into Alan, and Alan has like a brief moment of dialogue, and he starts slashing at him with a blade. And you get these like aerial shots, like these over the top shots, overhead shots of them as he's slashing at him, and you see these great shots of like the blood splurts from above coming out of Matt as he's backing up. And I was like, wow, like this is actually really well shot. This is well executed. It's bloody as all get out. It was a really good sequence.
Yeah, he's slashing him with that knife. Blood is splattering all over like the white like pool umbrellas and stuff. And there's that moment where he just like stabs him in the full on in the stomach, and Matt crashes back into their like outdoor table, and crashes. And Alan just walks over and kind of nonchalantly throws the knife into the pool.
Yeah, great sequence. Really, really good sequence.
Bloody, yeah. I mean, we've seen some blood so far in the film, but nothing like this. This is a brutal slashing and stabbing. And Matt's dead. His wife's still in the backyard. He drives to work. We do get another one of his voiceovers where he is talking, I'm an instrument of perfection and hygiene, the enemy of decay and destruction. I'm a dentist with lots of work to do. So he gets to the office. Guess who's there? Paula.
I was going to say Sarah, but Paula. Thank God for Paula. She's back, looking better than ever.
Well, that's not a hard feat for her. Paula, yeah, Sarah's also there. Sarah is also there, but Paula is there. She's already bitching about her. Do you guys never start on time? Doctor comes in and takes Paula in the back, and he's preparing to give her some Novocaine. And she's asking about the dog. Are you sure you didn't see anything with my dog? And he says no. And Roger takes that fucking needle, that Novocaine needle, and he intentionally like shoves it into her gum as far as it'll go. That's not how that's supposed to work. Like, you don't need to shove the entire 2-inch needle into someone's gum.
And she's like moaning and groaning. It's so awful.
She's like, ow, oh. And I'm wondering why Jessica's not noticing that he's doing this. I mean, he is just going, and we have to also keep in mind, we see this. Like, we get a whole like close up of a gum prosthetic, and we see the needle, and he's just shoving it as far in as he can.
Oh my, I can't imagine how painful that must fucking be. And this is, I mean, if you think the scenes up to this point have been gum heavy, this one, whoo, I mean, get ready. Because poor fucking Paula, who I dare say is the final girl in this movie, all things considered. I mean, when we sit down and we tally it out, I might think Paula is the final girl. But I mean, there's this whole moment here where he's starting to drill at her tooth. And holy shit, again, for the practical effects here, he is, I don't know how they did this, but he is just drilling this tooth. There's nothing left. This tooth is sawdust. And Jessica's like, you are ruining that woman's tooth. And he doesn't seem to fucking care. And poor fucking Paula, I mean, not like I want to side with this broad, but that, I cannot imagine how much that must hurt.
Well, she should have kept her fucking mouth shut about Matt. That's what gets him going. Because when he says, no, I didn't see anything with your dog, she's like, well, neither did Matt. And he's like, Matt? And she's like, yeah, pool guy Matt. He's good. He's real good.
I'd be bragging just like Paula.
I know. Well, he has that. Yeah. And you see, like, there is a close up of him just drilling. What's it called? The bullhead drill bit that he's using. He's just demolishing this tooth. And yes, this poor woman, she can only do like moan. She's like, oh. And yeah, Jessica notices, asks him if she can talk to him for a second. So she stops him and takes him out in the lobby. She's like, what are you doing to that woman's tooth? You're destroying it. He loses it. He's like, don't you dare question me. I own this practice. This is my practice. So you get in there and you shut up and you take care of that patient.
The way he fucking talks to her, and she, oh my God. Everybody is fucking on edge. But I love that she goes in and she's like, I think you need to fucking go. Like, Jessica does take charge here. She tells Paula, like, Paula could very well have been one of the victims in this movie. She is not. Jessica saves her life. I want to acknowledge that.
She does. She tells her to get the fuck out of there. She's like, you need to go now. Like, literally, please go now. And so Karen stops the doctor and tells him, that dude from the IRS called. He's on his way again. And Alan's like, God damn leeches, blood-sucking leeches. So he goes back into the room to work on Paula. Paula's gone. He's like, what happened to the patient? Jessica says, oh, she insisted on leaving. And this is when he blames her. He's like, God damn it. You should have made her more comfortable. And she's like, are you really blaming this on me? You're really saying this is my fault? He's like, yes. And I'm firing you for being unprofessional.
And then Jessica busts out those motherfucking tights.
She does. She's like, me unprofessional. She pulls those out. What about these? I'm going to report you. You know, this is it. I mean, she's basically telling him, I'm going to call the dental association and report you, and you are going to be done.
She actually says the line, like, you had to remove these to fill a cavity. And I was like, girl, like, she is a scorned woman. I like that about some of her stingers here before her ultimate demise. At least she gets some fucking lines in that make her seem like a badass.
Yeah, oh God, she is a badass. It's a shame what happens to her. I mean, because she's halfway out in the hallway, and he looks at her and he's like, you pig, you filthy, disgusting pig. And she's like, oh, fuck you. And she turns to walk away, and he unfortunately wraps those pantyhose around her neck tightly twice, spins her around, pulls her back into the room, like her hand is gripping the door jamb, and he pulls her away just as Karen walks by. So Karen doesn't catch it. And takes her in this room and like strangles her. I mean, and there's a moment where she almost gets the best of him because she grabs that fucking needle and she's going to stab him, but he's just too powerful. And he like strangles Jessica to death right there in this dental room.
Well, and I'm not normally a huge fan of like a choke out. I feel like oftentimes they feel kind of uninspired, but this is very drawn out. You see her pick up the needle for a minute. You think she's going to get the best of him, but then she just goes unconscious, you know? And yeah, it's a bummer because like she was about to just expose him for all of this shit. She was so close to it, and he's just such a fucking piece of shit. He offs her. So it's sad to see her go because her character, I really like Jessica a lot. And I think if she would have just gotten 3 steps ahead of him, all of this would have gone completely differently, you know?
Yeah, she was almost there, but unfortunately she's dead. We get cut back to these fucking detectives again. Detective gives us it in the car. His partner got the lab results back from the bullet. He gets in the car and he's like, you are right. The bullet wasn't from the robber. This was from a 380. And guess what? Guess who has a 380 registered to them and is a registered, gun owner and member of the NRA? Fucking Alan Feinstein, right across the street from Paula.
One thing I like about the developments over the course of this film is nothing here feels completely absurd, like over the top, unreasonable. Like all of the revelations, like how they find out the information, they have the bullet tested, they trace it back to the same gun model, they find out he lied to him, and they go to the office to confront him. Like it's as simple as that. And again, this is where the simplicity of the story for me works greatly in the film's favor.
Yeah, I mean, it all falls into place, and you can buy it. You're right. It doesn't seem like super contrived. You can buy everything that's leading to the ultimate climax of the film and them figuring out kind of what's going on. At the office, Sarah is finally next, Roger. She is so fucking happy. She's getting ready to go back into that room to get these fucking braces off. Guess who comes waltzing in?
God fucking damn it. This goddamn Goldblum showing up like a fucking dick. He's such a piece of shit. And when she comes up and Sarah's like, but I was next. He's like, well, kid. Yeah. Like he gives her like a $5 bill and she's like, I can't take that. And he's like, next time take the money. And then he takes it back. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is repulsive. And like when Candy like questions it, he's like, oh, I don't think that would be a good idea for your business. Like he throws it back at her, and so she has no choice but send this guy back. Poor fucking Sarah.
Yeah, he tells Candy, we can start the audit now if you'd prefer. And so he has to go back to a room. So Goldblum heads back, goes into the room. In the room, Dr. Feinstein, he's like, what do you want from me? Goldblum says, you know what? I know your business is doing stellar. I've seen your tax returns, but God damn, those deductions, what do you think you're trying to pull? You know what? It would be cheaper for you to pay me than it would to be to Uncle Sam. So now it's revealed what this fucking guy wants. He's literally blackmailing this dentist.
Goldblum starts like taunting Alan right away, and he's again like I really think this guy just takes the character and runs with it. I think the dialogue here is some of the best dialogue in the film. This whole kind of monologue he has, kind of unveiling his plan as how he's going to blackmail. The fact that he's not going to have to go ahead and expose him if all the money comes back to him, and he could start with this, and he pulls out the two caps that have come out of his teeth to have those replaced. And so he's like, you could start here. And so he's, obviously he's going to go under the chair. I would not, after disclosing this to this guy, there's no way in hell I would ever trust that I would get in this guy's dental chair. I don't trust a dentist to begin with, let alone an angry dentist who's pissed off at me.
Exactly. That's what I kept thinking, dude, you're a fucking moron. You literally taunt. But there's this whole he makes even a gay jab at him because he does see that Alan has the pantyhose in his pocket. And he's like, you're not going to put those on, are you? And I was like, no. I found them in the nitrous ox, or I found them in the closet with the gas. He's like, oh, did you come out of the closet? Yeah. He's just being a total asshole. And then to reveal that you're literally going to blackmail this guy. You're telling him you got to pay me now, and you're going to just gleefully get in his chair and think that everything is going to be a-okay. What a fucking idiot. It's not a-okay. In fact, it goes pretty awry pretty quickly.
That's putting it lightly. What happens to this man? Again, kudos to the FX team here. What's about to happen? Because as soon as Alan gets Goldblum in this chair, there's not a moment of hesitation. He gasses him up. There's a few moments of witty banter where Goldblum's cracking jokes about being gassed up, and then pretty fucking quick, Alan's tying him down to the chair, and he goes in full psycho killer mode, and. Everything up to this point so far has been, when it comes to these gory moments, has been really well executed. But I have to say, what's to come from this moment is probably the cherry on top of the sundae for me, because wow, they give you some really, truly just mortifying visuals. Oh my God, what's happening here?
He clamps his mouth open with that clamp. And we get that visual of him just in this chair with this mouth clamp, and his mouth is literally clamped wide open. Again, you don't want to know what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the shot from the movie Megan is Missing. Remember? I know you're not a big fan of that movie, but remember those two pictures that are revealed towards the end of the film that were found, and we see that the one of them is the girl and her mouth is clamped open.
Yes. And then another thing that kind of brought to mind, and this is so random obscure. Remember the movie Mirrors?
Oh yeah.
Where Amy Smart grabs her jaw and she pulls it and pulls it down. But this, the thing is, this guy does not die right away. Let's just put it out there. This guy is put through an absolutely excruciating experience in which his jaw is stretched to beyond what is physically capable for a man, and he is just moaning and screaming in agony to the point that outside in the office they can hear it. And right before Candy, because you think Candy's going to go in and check in on things because she's a boss ass bitch, but lo and behold, right before Candy can go in there, more Matthew Ziegler from the area dental supply shows up. This fucking random unnamed actor who pops in for a cameo moment, but Candy is just. She lights up.
Oh, she is so smitten with him.
Oh, she is.
She is smitten with him. And I kept thinking, okay, what's this going to lead to? Where's his character? It goes nowhere. He literally is there to distract the character for a minute. But no, are we not going to talk about the visual we get of Alan drilling Goldblum's tongue and seeing that tongue be
Oh,
ripped apart by that fucking dental drill.
it's going back and forth. The thing is with this sequence is like it's not like it's like one shot and you're done. For the rest of the time that this guy Goldblum is in the movie, his jaw is completely unhinged. So like let's just be clear, his jaw is like open like a snake's because of this metal device. And Alan sits him down, and you're right, he starts drilling at this guy, and he's like, "Move your tongue!" And so he starts sawing through it, blood spraying all over him. I had my hands on the side of my face, just saying, like, what is happening? God, what is happening?
The tongue becomes a pulpy mess. It's just it's destroyed. I can't even imagine the pain. I mean, people can hear this guy screaming his fucking lungs out, and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, we always have one or two of those patients that have low pain thresholds." Luckily or unluckily, however, Karen, you know, interrupts and knocks on the door and asks everything is okay, and Alan says, "Yes, everything's fine. Everything's fine." And she's like, "Well, where's Jessica?" And he tells her, "I had to fire her." And she gets worked up. Like, this pisses Karen has been pretty even keeled throughout the film, but she gets mad. She's like, "What? We're already short staffed." He says, "All we got to do is make it to the end of the day and it'll be fine." She's like, "Well, maybe there shouldn't be an end of the day."
I like that Karen finally fucking stands up to this fucker.
Yeah, because like I said, for the most of the film, she's been pretty meek and almost protective of him in some scenes.
But she's frustrated, and understandably so. You know, again, with the way that the story unfolds, like what's going to happen to her here in a moment is completely again by happenstance. Because she goes to one of the closets to grab something, and she notices that poor fucking Jessica's purse is still there. And Candy, meanwhile, is so smitten with this gentleman who's still just trying to sell her things. And Candy knows how to work this system. This ain't her first rodeo, because she's like, every decision made in this office is made by me. And then she lures the guy to go out and get lunch with her. And he's like, well, how about I sell you some blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh no, we're going to go get lunch. Like, Candy is going to take this as far as she fucking can. And so Karen is alone at this point, aside from Sarah being in the office. She finds the purse. She just goes into the office to, you know, question Alan as to like, well, what, you know, I thought you fired her. Her purse is still here. And she finds this fucking horrific visual of Marvin still alive, moaning in agony on the chair, and he's just there covered in blood. And she walks in like a deer in fucking headlights, and she's cornered by Alan. And there's this really great moment here where he kind of gives her a piece of this monologue, but this whole confrontation between the two of them, this whole sequence, I really thought this is great.
Oh, yeah. He says, "It's horrible, isn't it? We deal with this every day. Clean them up, and they hate us for it." And then he says, "That filthy whore. She put his dirty, rotten in her mouth."
Oh, that line. I wrote down that same line, Troy, because I really think it's his best line delivery in the film. There's something like his rage, his hurt, his upset, all of it. It comes through in this moment. And she's just looking at him with horror in her face, and she turns to run, and she goes to run for the door, but he grabs her and violently shoves her head in the wall. Like there's nothing she could have really done. You know, she couldn't even defend herself. And what happens here, I really feel like this film doesn't have a bad kill. It doesn't have a bad kill in it.
No, this one disturbed me quite a bit. I felt terrible for this character, and I guess it's also the reaction that the actress has. But yeah, I mean, he slams her head into the to the wall and then drags her over and takes an empty syringe, and he's like, just calm down, honey. Just calm down. It's going to be over in a minute. Once the air bubbles get to your brain, it'll be over. And he literally just takes air and injects it into her neck, and she starts convulsing. And it's really disturbing. Like, I don't know what it was about this particular death that disturbed me, but I was like, oh, this is not fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely think, like, you see the needle go into the temple or to the side of her neck. You see her eyes like darting around. You hear her gagging, and you start to see the blood like forming on the side of her face and everything from the injection site.
And then like her convulsing and the eyes rolling back into her head. Got it. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see. It always affects me to see people like have such a prolonged extreme reaction to something like that. And, you know, most movies, most slasher movies, most horror movies, they don't necessarily dwell on the process of dying. You know what I mean? Like we'll see how an axe goes in his face and he drops over dead. Okay, well, yay. But you very rarely see like the whole process, like the length of time it takes to die. And I think this one shows that, and it just gets to be a little bit uncomfortable. And plus, I liked this character. I mean, this character, for the most of the film, she went to bat for him. She was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt throughout the whole film, and then have her die so like horrifically was shocking.
Yeah. I think the big thing, my big angle here is, aside from Brooke, obviously he has his issues with Brooke, but so many people who do meet their demise in this film are innocent. Like obviously you have Goldman, who's a piece of shit, and then everything that's happening with the affair and everything. But anybody who has anything happen to them in the sense of like the patients, his employees, like the things he does to some of these people, whether he kill them or just physically molest them. I mean, some really innocent people go through some kind of awful things here. And you're right, it is difficult to watch it because Karen has not done a single thing wrong. And she has, like the word I wrote was miserable, like a miserable death. Like you see the life leave her eyes. It is sad. And I feel bad after she dies. And it does leave the last one standing in the office is Sarah.
Well, yes, I was going to say the only saving grace is that, that fucking Candy got her big ass out of there because she wanted to go have lunch. So Candy's safe. We wouldn't want to see anything horrific happen to Candy, right?
Oh, no, oh my God. If that, I would have turned it off. Absolutely not. No way. But she does send Sarah back.
We also have a moment where it cuts back to the house. The cops, the two detectives show back up at Alan's house to inquire about why did you lie that you don't own a firearm when you clearly do, and you own the type of firearm that was used to kill the dog. Well, nobody's there. They knock, nobody's there. They go to explore a little bit and they see that trail of blood. And I mean, this trail of blood is literally like it leads them to Matt's dead body. It's a long trail. They climb upstairs and they find Matt's dead body. So then they get into the house. They rush upstairs and they find fucking Brooke tied to the fucking bed, lips as swollen as fucking huge. And she just looks miserable. Put this poor woman out of her misery. She's never going to be the same.
I thank God for veneers is all I'm going to say for this woman's future. But what a traumatizing and painful experience this poor Brooke went through. I mean, my one aspect that I do appreciate having the detectives like come in as characters, like yes, throughout the course of the movie, it feels very secondary and necessary. But what it adds to this final, like the final arc of the film, this final chunk. I really actually think is quite fantastic. I like everything that's going to come. And I love this moment where they find Brooke all tied up because like, oh shit, they had no idea that this whole time this guy was just fucking losing it. And yeah, we're going into what is like the finale. Like we are entering the finale. Sarah goes back in the room. She sees the dentist washing the blood off his hand. She doesn't notice the blood. He sits her down in the chair and he does remove her braces. I mean, if there's a light at the end of this tunnel, Sarah got her braces off. Finally. Jesus Christ. Poor woman. Child. Teen.
She's just gleaming. She's like, oh, I look great. And then he's like, yeah, you do. Until he starts to have that vision again of her teeth turning all brown and rotten.
Oh, and she has no idea what the fuck is going on, this poor child. She has no idea that this man just killed a shit ton of people. And he starts babbling to her about fucking rot and decay and the purity and no longer going to be pure because they're all going to rot in the end. And then he just brandishes that gun and that poor girl. Like, she's like, what the fuck? She just starts screaming. But I gotta say it, Troy. Sarah's proactive. What does she do? She grabs that side table, she swings it around, she knocks him over, and she's off running with that bib hanging off of her.
Sarah is pretty. I mean, she does step it up. You say what you want about her not being like your traditional final girl. She hasn't really had a lot to do throughout the whole film except whine about not getting her braces off. But she does step it up. She does make a few good decisions. Like he grabs her to try to pull her back in, and she bites him. And gets away, and like she runs and hides in that nitrous oxide tank closet. He's stalking around when all of a sudden Jessica's body falls onto her, and luckily she doesn't like lose her shit to give away where she's at. But when she thinks that it's safe, she gets out and goes into the room where Karen is on the floor dead, and that fucking Goldblum, Roger, he's still alive.
Oh my
he's
God.
still alive.
I thought for a minute, like the chase starts to feel a little bit bloated because there's this whole bit where the dentist is going and like opening office after office looking for her. She's hiding.
And some of the dialogue he's saying is a little cringy. He's like, "You can't hide from your dentist."
Oh my God. Well, his line is, "You can't hide, not from your dentist. I know where you are." And I say, how does his being her dentist or any dentist give him any advantage in that area? Like, how does my dentist know where I am at all times? No. But I was like, okay, that's a strange choice of words, but I'm going to excuse it because I love that she ducks into one of the rooms, and yes, they bring Goldman back again. And I said, thank you, God, because he looks fucking horrific. And so she, again, being a good human, she's untying this poor man whose face is just... I mean, this man, she should have just put him out of his misery. This man is forever deformed. His jaw hanging down to his bust line. And so she unties him, and the dentist busts in there, and he starts to grab her, and she gets knocked to the floor. And I do love that Goldman, they're giving us these great close-ups of his face with his eyes rolling back. He's in excruciating pain. But he turns back, and he jumps on top of Alan, and he starts to help Sarah. And I like there's this moment where they're both kind of like ganging up on him. I appreciated that because, yeah, up to this point, there hasn't really been a hero. She's going to be the closest we're going to get to a final girl. And at least they give her, like, what I got to say is, like, kind of a kick-ass chase sequence. Like, this is a good chase scene with some great revelations. Like, you see all of the dead bodies. She stumbles across everybody. Then she has this great showdown involving fucking Goldman, like, stepping into it. I just think it's a really good big final act. I think this whole bit is great.
Yeah, I mean, and I do like the fact that Goldblum definitely has a moment where he is able to sort of save. I don't want to say save the day, but he definitely allows Sarah to get away. It doesn't really last much longer because he does catch up to her and pull a gun on her. And I gotta say, Roger, I found like her final dialogue with him to be a little eyebrow raising and like why he decided to go along with it. But then again, I guess it sort of makes sense because he's been so obsessed with rot and decay. But I was thinking more along the lines of like personal relationships rotting and decaying as being like symbolic of, you know, why he keeps mentioning teeth rotting and stuff. But let's just put it this way. He's going to kill her. She is able to get away from him or convince him not to kill her by promising Roger that she will brush her teeth 3 times a day and not eat candy. And I'm like,
yeah, this outcome, it's a little, it's a little lackluster. What I really kind of what I personally want to take away from this is, like, he keeps comparing rotten decay to what he sees in people. And honestly, out of everybody, Sarah is like the purest. You know, I think that's why they played her so young. That's why they made her look so innocent, and she's so sweet. Because, you know, at the end of all of this, like, I think he sees that she's just untainted. You know, she's not yet disgusting and vile like all these other whores. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think the dialogue gives me that, but I want it to give me that because I think that would be a natural revelation for him as to why he let her survive. Because I do like that he chooses to let her live, but I think that this is kind of skimmed over. This dialogue is kind of lazy. And so it doesn't make it as impactful as it could have been. You get what I mean?
I do, and I guess there is that moment before he pulls the gun on her when she's in the chair. There is that bit of dialogue where he says that, you know, that rest of your, you know, this is too bad because the rest of your life is only going to spoil what we made. The idea that every second you're just rotting away, can you live with that? I don't think you can, and that's when he pulls out the gun. So he, you know, the whole thing about he thinks he's doing her a favor. He's going to kill her and put her out of her misery so she won't have to deal with the inevitable rot decay that comes from living, whether it's in a relationship, a job, anything that's just going to eat away at you. He thinks he's doing her a favor. But yeah, I found like then for her to like, oh, I'll brush my teeth 3 times a day and I won't eat candy. I'm like, really? But apparently that's enough I was trying to understand like how that, because that so far the whole idea of rot and decay has been so like I don't want to say deep, Roger. That's not really necessarily the word I'm looking for, but there's been some depth to it. Some good symbolism behind the whole idea of rotten decay. Like, it hasn't been so literal. Does that make sense? Like, the rotten decay that he's experiencing, that he's fixated on, is from his relationship with his wife. So then when you end the film and it becomes so literal, I was like, kind of a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. And after this, like Sarah, like she has another moment where she like obviously the detectives find her, but she's not like this was her big moment. This is the conclusion. It does feel like a pinch of a waste, but what it does kind of set off into is this whole pursuit that's to come, because Alan does take off in his car, listening to opera. Calmly driving alongside cops, not being detected as he's hearing the cops in the background arriving at his office. And they do come in, they find poor Sarah still in the chair, and there's this cool moment where Ken Foree like puts his hand over her mouth. He's like, don't say anything. But they find that Alan's already gone. So he's on the run. They're trying to figure out where he went. And I do love like this final stretch here. This movie has felt relatively small budget and restricted. It's been very much restricted to a couple of locations. But what they do is they kind of give us this final stretch that takes us to what is this college, where there's obviously a dental college, and it's a location we have not been to yet. We find out through Candy, who's like lamenting everything that's happened and mourning her friends, and she's like, I can't believe it. He was a respected dentist and a teacher. And Sarah's like, shut the fuck up. I love that moment for her.
I do. Oh yeah, she's like, he was a fucking lunatic. Will you shut up?
And then Ken Foree's like, wait, you said a teacher? What do you mean a teacher? And they do have this moment where they're like, oh fuck, he is a teacher. He has access to the college. And it does bring us to this like great final bit that I really enjoy. This like last act. What do you think of this final stretch?
I guess it's okay. I'm not necessarily a fan of how the note that the film ends on, literally, but like I do like this moment where he is in this college class and he has all of his students are having patients there, and he is literally going insane. He's like drilling that poor woman's tooth, and she's screaming bloody murder, and his student's like, I think she needs some Novocaine or so, and he's like, no, pain is subjective. She can deal with it, and he's off the fucking rails to the point where he is telling all of his students to like they need to extract all the teeth.
Troy, this moment where Alan turns a gun on these students and demands that he demands that these people extract these poor patients' teeth is, I think it's cinematic gold. I'm sorry, these people are literally just there like for a class, like they're all just there learning how to drill. The poor people who are getting their teeth worked on, they're already probably terrified because they're having students operate on them. I mean, I can't imagine a more mortifying situation than knowing that my teeth was going to be drilled on by a child. And so he's there and he pulls the gun. He's like, I didn't extract the teeth. And screaming, people are shrieking, and I just love that. Like, it didn't need to go here. It really could have ended with the detectives busting into the office, I don't know, shooting him, whatever it may have been. That could have been the finale. But no, they give us this big moment where he's hallucinating again, seeing visions of his team, like of the girls, like approaching him and being like, look what you did to us. Look, we know what you did to us. And they're like surrounding him, and so like he ends up shooting like a random bystander. I don't know, man. I thought this was just bonkers enough to completely sell me on it. I love that it kicked up the ante for the last few minutes, and I do find this last bit really entertaining.
No, it's funny. I like like some of the reactions of the people that are laying in the dental chairs when he's like, like some of them are trying to like back away and roll away. But yeah, I mean,
he's like, to extract the teeth. Like, it's just so absurd, Troy. And then he takes that girl hostage when the cops come in, and it's just chaos. And like, I think having such, this has been a pretty restrained film in the sense that like it's been very restricted to that location, but also like the cast has been pretty much been only the people that we've been introduced to, and that's it. And this has like a ton of extras. Like, it just seems like a larger scope than everything that's come before it. So I appreciate the inclusion of this moment.
Yeah, well, he runs away. He runs down a hallway and he hears opera music. And there's this moment where he's hallucinating, obviously, because he comes onto a stage and he sees a woman singing opera. And by the very looks of it, it's Brooke, and she's singing beautiful opera. And he approaches her, and as he approaches, she turns around, and her mouth, Roger, is fucked up. It's swollen, bloody, and she's like, and then she starts laughing at him.
Well, and then he's hallucinating. So really, there is a woman that's there singing opera, but it's just a random woman. And I guess at the end of the day, if we're really gonna like play by the rules, I guess this woman is the final girl. Because she's the last one. Like, she's there on the stage as the cops run in, and so this random opera singer has the moment with Ken Foree where she's like resting her head on his shoulder, and like she doesn't have a fucking line, but I guess she's the final girl, Troy.
She's just a random student practicing her opera. Well, okay.
And then we get this great little kind of ending piece where we do realize that we're kind of back at the beginning. It's come full circle. What we saw at the start of the movie with his hands kind of like mimicking using dental equipment, it's that he's actually in the mental asylum. And so you do have these orderlies come in, and he has this great little bit where he's just reacting really big, really just chewing on the scenery, really selling it. And so he's taken for his dental work. He's taken into a room where there's a chair and he's tied down, and they put a piece in his mouth, and there's a female dentist there standing beside him. And like, lo and behold, she turns around and it's Brooke, and she's up in his face, and he's freaking out. He's like, I don't want it. You won't do this to me. I don't want it. And then she has this great moment where she smiles, and it's that gummy fucking smile, Troy. Those goddamn big pink fat gums as Brooke's standing over him starts drilling into his face, and you get that great shot as the camera's pulling away through the vent above him, just seeing him shrieking as she's drilling away at him. And I thought, wow, this is a really strong ending for what is a straight to HBO movie. I really thought it kind of ended on a really great, cool, kind of artistic note.
And it left open room for a sequel, because there is a sequel. I've never seen the sequel, so I can't speak to the quality or the continuation of the story. But have you seen The Dentist 2?
I've not seen The Dentist 2. I love the poster for it, but I've never watched the movie. I looked into it once. This is years ago, because when I originally saw The Dentist, like, I really liked the character of Sarah. I remember that. For some reason, I've always liked her. And I got really mad because I know that none of the other characters return in the sequel aside from the dentist himself. So I was like, I hate movies where everything else is just completely not related. But I would, at this point, I would like to see it. I do believe that Brooke is a character that's in the sequel. Now that I know that, now that I've come back and revisited this film, I'm kind of curious to see it. We're going to have to cover it sometime, because I did really have a great time watching this movie. I can't deny that.
It's a movie that I guess there are definitely major entertaining parts to it. I don't know if, like I said, there's a couple sequences that kind of damper my enjoyment level of the film. So I don't know if I'd actually watch it again, but I could see this being a movie that would play well, like with like a movie viewing night. If you had like a party or something and people were drinking and you wanted to throw something on that would just kind of rile people up to certain levels, I think this would be almost the perfect movie to do that, because people are going to react to it so differently. It would be interesting to see like how younger people would react to this movie now versus us who grew up with the 70s, 80s, 90s horror and kind of stuff that pushed boundaries and stuff that was displayed before it became sort of taboo. I would just love to see different generational reactions to this film. So it could be a fun film to play with the group.
Oh yeah, I especially a group of people that have an issue with teeth and gums. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just don't tell them what they're getting into. I would love to watch people squirm while watching this movie. But yeah, honestly, and I really just think that this isn't technically like a conventional slasher. There's a lot of things it does differently, especially following the killer's narrative more so than anybody else's. When it comes to delivering in the kills and gore department, I really have to say I think this is a title that does not get enough appreciation. We've seen plenty of movies where the effects have left me far less affected. Yeah, I mean, like there have been so many slashers that we've seen where the kills have felt just maybe like they were not well executed, a little bit lackluster. The makeup effect didn't quite pull it off, and it's something that we've come to accept. It doesn't make a movie bad. It's just sometimes the kills are not up to par with what you want. But I mean, come on, like this movie, if anything, this film deserves some acknowledgement for. It's the quality of these kills and the creativity, because a majority of these kills are very much dental related. And so that's really, I think it really, I mean, if you're going to do a movie and call it The Dentist, I think for the most part, this film really lives up to everything I would hope for and then some.
Absolutely. I mean, for a film called The Dentist, you should know what you're getting into. You're getting into a slasher film about a dentist. Maybe a little bit more cerebral than most slasher films, even though the storyline is very basic. Man finds wife cheating, man goes insane, goes on a killing spree. But there are levels of I think, like deeper levels going on, especially with all the stuff with the rod and relationships and stuff like that. But interesting choice, Roger. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, interesting choice. I'm glad we covered it. It is a film that I think a lot of people forget even exists. So maybe we can shed some more light on it and spark people's memories about this film and get them to watch it. Because, yeah, I mean, I do remember going to the video store in the mid 90s and seeing this on the shelf. I cannot believe I've never watched it before now, though. But good choice to cover. I'll be excited to hear listeners' reactions to this episode and this title.
Me too, and I feel like this is a movie that is going to have a fan base that's going to be excited that we covered it. So I'm curious to hear, fans, what do you think of this title, The Dentist? Should we cover The Dentist 2 down the line? I'm sure we'll do it regardless, but is it something that has you guys chomping for it? We want to hear it for sure. But thank you for sticking through the full episode. And Troy, I do believe the next episode is yours, milady.
Yes, it is, Roger. Yes, it is. And I had to think long and hard about like what I wanted to cover. And there's a title, Roger, that we've put off for so long, and I think it's just time that we do it, because I think the gays are going to eat it up, and talk about a title that doesn't get talked about a lot or enough, I should say. We're just going to do it, Roger. I'm going to throw it out there. We are finally covering, whether you like it or not, The Rage Carrie 2.
Oh my god, I'm so happy you picked it. Oh my god. You know what? I'm not gonna tell anyone my thoughts on it until we dive into it. I'm not saying a fucking word, because you know what? We have talked about this for a long time, Troy.
We have, and I know we've put it off because we're like, oh, there's a specific guest that I know would probably choose this movie if we ever had him back. But I mean, Roger, we're going on 4 years into this podcast. It's about fucking time we give Carrie 2 some attention.
It's long overdue. Long overdue. Good call. Good call, Troy. We're really busting out some good ones lately. Holy shit.
I can't wait.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to discuss it with you. There's a lot, but okay. So yes, guys, Carrie 2, next episode. Let us know your thoughts on The Dentist. If you enjoyed the episode, you enjoyed the last couple episodes, go to Apple Podcasts, give us that 5-star rating like Girl Love Zombies did. We'll give you a shout out if you write a little review, and also check out our Patreon. We restructured it a little bit. We're still going to give you some bonus content, but we're making it a little bit, I think, easier for both of us to maneuver, and while still providing you with some unique content that you won't get on the main feed. So check that out. 2 tiers, 2 simple tiers. Price of a cup of coffee will get you through the entire month. We have 120 plus bonus episodes currently that you'd have access to. So check that out.
More of them coming too.
Yep.
Good ones.
But guys, with that said, brush your teeth, floss before bed.
Oh my God. Floss before bed. Or else maybe you'll end up gummy like Brooke.
Giving some gummy head. Can you imagine?
Oh, I was about to make a comment about, like, if only he would have pulled the teeth before that oral sex scene, that guy would have probably gotten himself quite a treat. All right. On that note, thank you, listeners, for sticking around for another episode of Dark Night of the Podcast. Leave those reviews. Leave us some love. We'll be back soon.
Good night.